Welcome back to the channel. I'm Crypto Trend Trader, and today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please trade at your own risk. Don't risk more than you're willing to lose. Alright, so we have the Bitcoin 4 hour here, and essentially what we've been discussing is since we came up on this parabolic bull run here, we basically have been forming this downsloping channel. Okay? But we've been getting held up by some long-term supports here in white and in red, and that's essentially been forming this symmetrical triangle everyone's been talking about. And then you'll see with the Wyckoff accumulation pattern, we put in essentially a support zone down here at the bottom, which has been holding up so far, which is giving us the triangle that everyone is talking about, the descending triangle. So essentially what we have is three patterns developing in one, and we won't know exactly which one it is until it's all said and done. But basically what we've done, we've respected this channel. We have two touch points on the bottom. We have part one, two, and then we almost made it here, but we just got front run on that one. So we technically don't have a third one on the top or the bottom, but it's very clear that we're interacting with certain points like the heart line. You'll see we bounced off it a couple of times, and then we've been using it as resistance or support accordingly. I think what happened here is we were able to buy this second support line and ride it up here, accumulating, and then you'll see we actually went over our target here. We were expecting to hit the fib, the 618 of the channel in gold here, but we made it almost to the top. We made it to the second to last level, and then it looks like got front run on that big dump. But everyone's seeing this now as a dump, and we're going back down to the bottom of either the triangle or the channel. But in all reality, we've broken through the white trend line a couple times, but like never a close. And then that close right there, we got a strong close below, and then immediately got that big move back up. I think that might have been the spring, and what's happening here, that was a big fake out to get everybody to go short. We put it up to the top here and it was moving too quick, so they push it back down. I think we could consolidate inside the white and inside the channel here, bounce around, back up, possibly even to a new high from where we got before off this support, this white support line here, bounce back up, and then we could break out and to the upside here. Now alternatively, it is possible that we could break down, so we'll go over that at the end. But essentially, if you look at what happened, this was our top point on the fib here, so that's our 0 point. We came just over the 786 after we got that bounce here. Okay, so we made it up to the 786, and then we finally made it all the way down here and formed our bottom. And then when we bounced up the second time, we made it to the 618, and then we came down and respected some of these other various fib levels in blue, but we came all the way back down and almost made it to the bottom again. And then we bounced all the way up, and this time we made it to the 382 on the way down and the 382 on the way up. So I think it's possible that what's going to happen is here we could bounce around and break out to the upside and make it to the 0.5, and if we do, come back, retest, and then possibly break to the upside out of this channel, and then that was our accumulation pattern finished. Or what could happen here, we could break out of this channel, get a spring, just like we got a spring to the downside here. We get a spring to the upside. Everyone thinks we've broken out. Excuse me. I've been sick, guys. Everyone thinks we've broken out. We come back, retest, and then it just tanks straight through the bottom here, and then we could finally hit our point down here. But see, what has me thinking that we are in fact still going to be coming down here to the bottom is, if you look at this fib circle that we've had going this whole time and the target we've had, you can see the interactions on it. We had the interaction with the outer one over here in 3 different spots. I mean, more than 3 really. We haven't quite made it over here to that part yet. If you take the second one, we've had a couple interactions in here where it was support or resistance, where it picked price up, and then you'll see when we came back down to it this time, we got picked up right here on this fib, started moving up, it walked us up, and then we punched up and got stopped by the next one, came back down, and when we got this dump here, we came straight back down to it again. And you'll see it interacts also with the Fibonacci traditional. Once you get used to the fib circles, all it does is just help you get a better idea of the regular Fibonacci, but with time related. So it gives you the arcs, it gives you essentially like parabolas to work with. So I think what's going to happen here, just like we got picked up here, and then we started walking up, we started our little mini parabola, we were going up the green line, we broke up a little sharper of an uptrend, we started making the yellow line, we broke up a little sharper of an uptrend, and then we got this red line here, and when we broke through the red line parabola, we came down, we tested the yellow, we tested the red as resistance, we tested the yellow as support, and then we broke it. We came up, tested the yellow as resistance, came down here and got picked up by the fib circle, but you'll see we still have this green line here, so we could come back down and get picked up by this green line. But if not, if we don't come all the way down to the final parabola line, essentially we could just get walked up right here, push back to the top, sell off again at the top of this channel, come down here, get picked up by that white support line, and then we could finally get our little breakout. And like I said, we could either get a spring, a fake out, and then send it back down, or we could get a big move to the top. And I think if we come up, we're going to at least hit this 236. Okay, because if you look how we've been interacting, we came down to the 382 on the whole move up, and then we made it almost back to the 0 point. We came down a little further, consolidated around the 382, came back up to the 236 a little higher, but couldn't get up as high as last time, came back down to the 236, consolidated, went a little lower, but didn't actually put in a lower low. So when we come up here again, if we put in a lower high and we move back down, we're likely to finally hit that 0.5 target that we haven't made it to yet. Okay, if we don't make it back down and we get pushed up, it's likely we're going to go at least to the 236 and put in another lower high, but outside the channel. But if you see us break through the 236, I mean, I think it's very, very likely that if we can break through the 236, we can break through this high and then potentially gain the momentum to move up high. And now if we break out on the downside, we have our target still down here with the fib circle interactions. If it comes up here and it does get knocked down by the fib circle, just like we were talking about, find support around this ring and then finally ends up right down here on the final ring of the circle, or somewhere in this region on this second to last ring. I mean, that's going to basically put us at either like a triple bottom around this area, the lower 9,000s, or it could put us here in the 8,500 range at the 0.5. But you got to look out for just small little front runs. Like we didn't quite hit our last target over here because it got front run just from the top of the channel. We were expecting it to come up a little higher, but it did. It got the same thing. It got front run just by a tiny bit. So if we see a continuation sell off similar to this, we can expect that it's going to go down to lower prices, and this was being used as a spring to push price down. So we're going to keep an eye on it, guys. I hope you appreciated a little technical analysis today, a little bit of the bullish technical analysis, because I know a lot of people are thinking this is very bearish right now, and I'm not necessarily seeing it until it happens. So let's not front run this. We got our sell-off just like we expected. We found support in a key area with our moving averages and our support, and I don't think there's any reason to assume that we're going to break to the downside right here over the upside. I think the best thing to do is just manage our risk off this specific area and then use that to our advantage so that we don't have to set like ridiculous stop losses, and we can take a trending trade in whichever direction it does break. So that's it, guys. Bitcoin technical analysis, bullish consolidation with crypto trend trader, and I'm signing off.